All right, you guys. Hello, this is the Pretty Preacher here, also the Pretty Coach Oracle. Um, the name of this video is going to be called The Aleph Tau, and I'm going to talk a little bit from some notes because, one, this is so scrawny and so small, I cannot read it even with these glasses. So there's that. I started this study while I was watching a video by a great researcher, Perennial How on YouTube. I'm having reached and late diagnosed, and the truth is that I've always done lots of stuff. I always like to have a couple different things going on at once, and so with that being said, I was already doing my studies. I was reading my Bible, and my purpose for reading that day was to look into which tribe specifically Joseph had come from, the father of Jesus specifically. So moving on, that's what prompted me to start reading and to also begin to look up some of the stuff that I looked up on Google. So what you see me type in right here is these locations that I had seen in the scripture. I know that it was in First Chronicles. I just can't remember exactly which chapter right now. So I also want to say this. Let me preface this video by saying, please just watch and read the screen and pause and read wherever you feel led to, okay? I only wanted to do the voiceover probably initially because I intended to record voice on this video. But when I had played this video back, I realized I didn't have any voice. So, thus the need for this voiceover. So the whole first portion of the video, you're going to see me typing in just like a series of different thoughts. The first one is about these locations that I had read in First Chronicles. And my reason for looking into Joseph's tribe, I wanted to know, was he from Judah, like Judah, or if he was from Levi or Benjamin? Because somehow I really felt like that would, I guess, make some things stand out or line up or connect some dots for me. The funny thing is, with ADHD, so many things can either distract you, right? Or you just can see how so many other things are connected, and it can take you, in this circular motion rather than this straight line. So I was looking into this, but I was led to other things. And that's what you're going to see on the screen. All the different places that I wound up being led to. So I think it's First Chronicles something. What is it, 4 and 22? Chapter 4 and 22? I might not be reading that clearly, guys. Please forgive me. But that's the scripture that I was looking into. And this is where these locations were mentioned. So my intentions for Googling was to see if maybe I could find the so-called modern day locations and what those names were. And if I could draw any type of conclusions or connections from them that way. But I never found that, by the way. Instead, it led me into other trains of thought along with watching this video by Mr. Korea. So I can't remember exactly which video it is, but I love watching his. He does a lot of great, deep research videos. And in one of the videos, he was talking about this discovery of Mayan slavery, basically, okay? And a lot of the Mayans were melanated beings. They were carbonated people, i.e., or AKA, otherwise known as so-called black people. Black people. Now, obviously, you wouldn't call those people African American like they do so many of us, but I digress. So, I don't know what's on the screen right now. I don't know what this is. Archaeological something. And I'm going to say, forgive me if you hear my babies in the background. I had to literally go lock myself in the bedroom to get some quiet to record the voiceover. I might not be able to do that for much longer. And so my baby may have to come in here, but I'm hoping I can get through this doggone video. This video is lengthy, but I really hope that you guys stay for it. So as I was looking into the locations and kind of didn't find what I was looking for there, and listening to the video with Karimio, it did cause me to look up other things. But from there, my attention turned to another subject that I had also been looking into. Now, it has been some days since I actually recorded this. And again, in the original recording, I was talking, but none of the sound was captured. So thus we're here. But I don't recall, what the other things were that had caught my attention and that I was looking into. Now, I will also say that when that happens, I think that maybe I shouldn't be talking about what it is that I'm talking about. So right now I'm seeing something where we're talking about the identity and the origins of someone. I don't know what that's saying because again, I really can't see that very clearly. And in the app that I'm using, I don't think I can do anything else while I'm recording the voiceover. So I can't make this bigger. I have no idea what I'm looking at. But I hope you guys can see. But to be honest, everything that really needs to be seen is going to play out on the screen. I'm wondering if this was about the archites right here. These were also one of the so-called tribes that were mentioned, or the peoples, races of people mentioned in First Chronicles chapter 4. So I'm still in that portion of my study where I'm trying to look into the tribe of Joseph. And in the book of Chronicles, the whole book is just naming all the different families based upon the sons, and some of the wives are mentioned there as well. It's not a lot of them that are mentioned, but there are quite a few wives that are mentioned by name in these chronicles, which every time they actually mention a woman, it just makes me feel like it's meant to pay attention to her and stuff like that. Like there was a reason for the distinction. So just put that out there. Now, at some point in this video, we are going to see this name or of a place or an area called Levant, Levant. I will say that that is associated with Lebanon, I later find out in this video, according to, this Google search. I do also feel the need to say this. One thing I do believe, guys, is that even the places that we have been, like the places as they're called and the places as we know their locations today, I don't believe that the places that we know today is the actual places that they're called anymore. I hope that made sense. Let me know if you understand what I'm saying in the comment below. But yeah. Anywho, I think that a lot of things have been switched around purposefully, masterfully, skillfully, in other words, cunningly. All goes to the Hebrew connotation and concept of witchcraft. So that is also a part of witchcraft, to change times, to change locations, and all of that for the purpose of concealing information, concealing truth. So anywho, that's that. I don't know where we are right now on this. I think that for this whole space of time, I was actually talking, and again, none of it was recorded. So I'm going to see if I can speed this up just a little bit. Otherwise, we're going to be here for quite some time. Oh, I can't do any of that. Oh my God. Let me see if I pause it, if I can speed up. Yeah, so I cannot speed this video. It's just going to have to, it's going to have to keep going on its own. But anyway, I'll take a moment to ask you guys, how are you doing? This is to make sure that you're present in your own bodies. How are you feeling today? What are you doing in this present moment? 11:25 is significant. 11:27 and 11:28 is significant for somebody, maybe even me. Okay. So let me know in the comments the answers to those questions. But anyway, I do want to go on this tangent because I have been researching for quite some time, and something that I found back in 2023 from doing a Hebrew word study with the Strong's Concordance and also the ancient Hebrew lexicon, I had wound up finding this connection between volcanic activity and volcanoes with the children of Israel, which are just people who were a nomadic tribe of people who honestly came out of all of the ancient peoples that first existed. And at any rate, I noticed that these people tended to gather and make their ritual places at the foot of a volcano. Because when we look at Moses, when he was getting the information and stuff like that from on high, supposedly, a lot of the happenings that went on, like the thundering and the lightning and the cloud of smoke and all of that at the top of the mountain and the bottom of the mountain, all of that sounded like volcanic activity. And sure enough, when I looked into the words of the scriptures, that's exactly what they said. That's exactly what they said. And then I went into Sodom and Gomorrah, and when you look at the elements that were said to be left behind after the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah, they were also connected to, guess what? Volcanic activity. So then, of course, I'm seeing this pattern of ways that cities are destroyed, towns. But then even more importantly, I see a pattern of how worlds come to an end, or how they begin from the ruins of this pattern, like what we see in Genesis all the time. One of the first word studies in Hebrew I ever did was in the book of Genesis, because I wanted to understand that book way more. And out of that, man, I found so many glorious gems. Like Genesis is the Aleph and the Tau. It is the ending. It is the ending and the beginning. It is the so-called Alpha and Omega-like energy. And I noticed that out of the water, right, these gods or goddesses or gods and goddesses are calling forth a new world out of water. And that, for me, is what made me start to believe in the concepts and the theories about Atlantis and maybe any other so-called ancient, legendary, or mythical world and land that had said to be sunken. Okay? Because we know that in so many ancient texts all around the world, they have this same cataclysmic event, right? Notated. All around the world, there are fragments of this same type of story. Characters' names are changed because of different dialects, right? Different languages and things like that. But baby, the story is the same. There was a cataclysmic event that caused massive flooding, that caused the earth to tremble and the earth to shake and the earth to open up. There was brimstone and fire. Okay. So when I was looking into just other Hebraic root words and things, I found out about Mu. And that's just from the letters in Hebrew of Mem and Wa. And you'll see that coming up a little bit later. But when I learned of Mu and I learned of the way that it was said to have been destroyed and sank into the bottom of the ocean, I said, oh my God, this is a true thing. This is not just some fantasy or something that was made up and not to be believed. This is ancient motherfreaking history. And would you believe that in my study, in some kind of way, I found, oh, I know, it was the Greek myths and mythos. All of that has to do with the mother, the maternal energy, the divine feminine, which in my Hebraic studies, I have found she is who is at the beginning of all things. And she also will be there at the end. She is the principle that is hovering over the waters. She is who calls the land out of the waters. And you know, for me as a woman who has been pregnant now before and I've birthed 2 children, it's not a lot, but it does give me the experience. And one thing I know is that there is so much going on in your body as a mother as you're preparing to give birth. There is so much happening. Bodies are being formed and you can't see it. And all of this is happening in the depths in your bowels as a mother. But life is teeming inside of you, waiting to burst forth. This is what Genesis energy is all about. And while I've still got some time before I move on to anything else on this screen, I'm going to say that it is through birth that salvation happens. That is the real Christ energy. That is Savior energy. To sacrifice your body, even while you're living, to sacrifice that to bring forth life. That is Christ energy. And so this is where my understanding about who Christs are, and what they do, my mind was blown and it was turned upside down because I came out of the Christian church under patriarchal Christian doctrines that teach that it is the man that is the savior and that teach that it's the man that is the head of the house. But as you will see in this video, I hope anyway, from even my own studies of the Hebrew words and letters, man, it is the mother that is the leader. Now, I will say this, fathers are also mothers. In biology, everyone starts off female until there's some type of chemical mutation and change that takes place in a female that makes her now a man or male in the physical. Okay. She is still, for lack of a better term, a female. She just has a super, super specialized and even fragmented I think I lost the train of thought what I'm trying to say, but she has a fragmented version of herself, okay? Moving forward, even in this video, you're going to see them try to talk and teach about the father and how the father is basically the one who holds the plans. And technically, to a degree, he does. I will say that he holds the fertilizer for the plants. But who actually holds the plants within her body is the woman. She is the one who holds eggs. Within the egg is everything that's needed to create life and sustain it and protect it until it comes to its full growing. Oh, okay, we got some new things going on here. So right here, I am actually typing in the name of, I want to say, one of the historians, I guess, or one of the researchers who had come up with this theory about Mu. He was one of the people who was researching in the Mayan ruins, and they say that he made a blunder. They say that he made this massive mistake in trying to interpret Mayan symbols. And with that, he attributed to Mayan symbols European alphabetic letters. And that is how the concept and the story and the account of Mu came about, and that this was actually an error and it was wrong. But as I shared with you guys before, my spirit was screaming that that could not be true just because of the way that when he translated what he translated, babes, you will see, you guys, that Mu was destroyed because of a volcanic eruption. And usually with volcanic eruptions, hold on, you guys. Sorry, I got a phone call. Give me a minute. All right, thank you so much for your patience with that. But usually when volcanic activity happens, it is something that is set off. Rather, excuse me, I'm trying to say it sets off multiple other cataclysmic events. So, for example, a lot of times connected to volcanic activity, you will hear about earthquakes and tsunamis. Okay? So, anyway, just pause and read if you need to. But when I saw this, I was so excited because, baby, I tend to read through and cut through bullshit because you have to be able to do that when reading information and researching, especially when you're looking into things that they, have you ever watched Deep Impact? It's a movie that I both love and can't stand. Okay. And that's just that. But what I did find out is how the government practices this notion of not revealing the true extent of the dangers of certain things for fear of causing worldwide panic and frenzy and fear in the name of keeping order. So they will withhold information. They will literally say that certain things are not even true or that they don't have enough information just to keep the world running so-called peacefully. All right, so here we are on the screen. We're seeing more things about Mu. Now, at this point, I love going into the Hebrew of the matter. So that's what you're seeing is me looking into the Hebraic letters that make up Mu. I also wanted to point out too, at some point on the screen, the word Mushlam is going to come up. And I didn't catch it the day that I was initially researching what I was researching. But Mushalam coming up, it makes me think about Muslim. Because Mushlam means perfected or to complete. And that's exactly what Muslim means. So I thought that was pretty cool. Now we're going into more about this. Looking more into the land of Mu. If you guys are interested in that type of stuff, I would highly recommend checking it out, looking into it yourself, and, seeing what you come up with. See, they're calling it a blunder. And then they attempt to tell you some story about how he messed up. And then I also think they're going to go into some key factors of what his mess up, which I do not believe is a mess up, by the way. I believe that this is whoever it is that is meant to be the gatekeeper. This is their way of, for whatever reason, concealing the fact that really this is the way that worlds always end. Okay? Just gatekeeping. I feel so bad. My baby is crying and I want to get her so bad, but I also want to make sure that I finish this video. They called it a sinking kingdom. Now, over in the sidebar over on the right, it might not be in this clip, but I noticed on one of the other ones earlier that it was talking about, it was a place of like 64 million or 64 billion people that sank. And they also mentioned something about 10 tribes. And I did not catch that at all the same day that I was recording this video. But I saw it as I was kind of trying to prepare for this one today in the voiceover. So I do want to say that I highly recommend checking that out. I'm definitely going to look into it again. Bring your sister, mommy. I know. Hi, honey.
Because he was there, he wants to see you.
Yeah, I know. Hi, mama. Hey, Chunky Bud. Thank you, ma'am. That's my oldest girl, Daria. Say hi, mommy.
Hi.
Okay. So we've got little baby girl here too. Say hi, mommy.
Hey.
There we go. All right. So keep reading the screen, you guys, if y'all want to. We still got a little ways to go. I cannot remember. I think this video, this video was an hour. And I'm going to tell you what happened, okay? This started getting good and juicy to me when I started to talk about and go into, the Aleph and the bait and what that means. And I'm not going to lie, you guys. I noticed that they kept talking about the Father, and there's nothing wrong with talking about the Father, but for me, I'm kind of over the concept of the Father right now, only because it has been drilled into our heads, Father this, Father that, and the aspect of the mother has absolutely been left out, and that was not done by accident. It was purposeful. And not only that, I believe that I have aught with the Father being first, because biologically speaking, which is the study of all life, biologically speaking, it is not true. It is not true that the Father came first. It is true that the mom is first. And so if it be true in the life that mom is first, then with a culture that has always practiced a philosophy and even religions around what is the truth, then that would mean that we'd have to go back to the mother being first. as I did learn, it used to be. Before this God and this usurping of the authority of the mother, toppling her kingdom and toppling her practices and toppling her knowledge worldwide, might I add, then bringing in the daddy. You know, that's what happened. Um, and so to come from a teaching that teaches that daddy is first and daddy is the head or the chief and mom is second in command, that was very confirming, honestly, that that's not the truth. So I just wanted to say that. Now, they're saying again that he had a flawed translation here. Shh. They're saying that he had a flawed translation. But again, according to Jude, the book of Jude, that is not true. And they are lying. They just don't want us. And I don't know why they don't want us to know, because what harm could it do, really? You know, the world, I think, is still going to be okay, as far as it's still going to go on for as long as it's meant to. And this will take place, whether we want it to or not. You know? I digress, though. On my TikToks, I want to say it might have been the Pretty Coach 555, but it could have been the Pretty Coach itself. I talk about the flaming swords, and I talk about the idea of concealing information, hiding information, hiding the truth. How that is what the winners of wars do. Like, if they're able to trick you out of your place, trick you out of your home and take over, the way that they maintain that power is by hiding the truth. Hiding, because the truth is the pathway back to home. So anyway, that's just one thing. I'm going to be quiet here for a moment and just let this continue. So I think right here I had heard something on the Cormio video, and I was trying to check it out, check into it. What I did find was about this Chinese ancient goddess who was said to be the Queen of the West. The Queen of the West. The Queen of the West. And she was associated with immortality. So just to speak on that for a moment, could it be that people came to the West for their own quests of immortality? You know? Anyway, just a thought here. So I type in something I think about. Is that Shang? I don't know. In the video with Cormio of how I was learning about the Shang dynasty, and Cormio is really great about teaching people about how every race, pretty much, on planet Earth, initially was melanated, carbonated beings, aka Black people. That is how I came across him. That is how I came to know him. So he doesn't just talk this stuff and just say it because it's supposedly jolting. He actually has books, and not only does he have access to books, but there are people who spend money on books and they send the resources to him to put out on his channel. Okay, He just gets resources from all around the world, and he just opens those books and he creates videos and presentations sharing principle, scholarly resources suggesting the same thing. And you can say Black in many different ways. Ethiopian, Swarthy, okay? But even the European nations, all of them were Black. Every nation known to men started off as Black, period. So I am that girl. I will say that all the time because it is the truth. Not because I feel like I have a superiority complex or even because I feel inferior. It is because it has been proven to be the truth. And there are many settlers and many writers who have taught about it. Okay? So what is this? I can't see this one that good, y'all. But I did just want to tell y'all, in the video, he was reading about the Shang dynasty, and they were a Black people. What is this right here? I can't tell what this one is, you guys. I can't make it out. So I hope that you still get something out of this part because I can't see it. There's something about gay pride parades I see, but I don't know what I actually put up here. So now I'm looking up cross cakes. Again, this was something that was mentioned in connection with Isis and the Chinese goddess. And by the way, this little search didn't really bring up anything significant, so I eventually move on. The cross of life here is the Ankh, which the Ankh represents the vaginal canal as well as the phallus meeting to create life. So what it does showcase is the so-called masculine and feminine principle. All right, so what we're looking at now. You itchy, mama? Your head is itching. I'm gonna have to take your hair down and wash it at some point. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I have no idea what is on this screen because everything is so skinny, like it's so small. Okay, the Egyptian Nipt. Okay, so this was me still looking into the Isis connection and the connection of that Chinese goddess, but it's about to wrap up here because I didn't find, I think, what I was looking for, but it was okay. So here is where I start to go back into this concept of looking into the word for Amma, which I know is connected to Mother Goddess. But that woman came up first. Hold on, mama. That woman came up first. And from here, I'm going to start breaking it down by the actual letters of the Hebrew. So the Aleph, the Mem, so on and so forth. Right here, I'm typing in Mother of All Living. And let me be clear, I am seeing this really by memory. Okay? This was like part of my favorite part of the video. It is the beginning of the end. Where stuff starts to get juicy here for me, in my opinion. I do want to go on record also by saying that I feel like this should be a celebrate. I believe that women should get excited about who they've always been and how they are, in fact, the powerhouse. All right, so the mother of all living, we're going into the word kawa, which in one of my Hebrew studies is when I really found out that she is, in fact, the breath of life. So connected to this name is the essence of every being that has a soul. So that is when we're in Genesis and they're reading and they're talking about how Adam, which is really man and woman together, not just one man, but I digress. When we're reading how Adam was given life and breath, that is, I have no freaking idea what happened. I have been sitting here talking for the longest time about this EM word here. I don't know what all was recorded. I just been going on and on. Oh my God. I hate when that happens. So I'm going to repeat some of the stuff that I can remember. Get that out of your mouth. What is in your mouth? What's in your mouth? Say, ah. Get it out. Spit it out, little lady. Mommy. Spit it out. Give it to mommy. Stop that. She's one and she's at that age where she is putting so many things in her mouth. Here, baby. So I'm not even going to try to do it no more. Let's just keep with what's in the video. So they're looking at the word structure and I also specifically asked for the paleo. Let me get a sip of this water too. Mm. Mm-mm. Whatever my baby was eating on when I shared my water with her, it was on my bottle top. No. Anyway, here is the Aleph and the Mem. And you're going to see the meanings of each letter. And then you're going to see me piecing them together. And this is really what I do on my own word studies, like by myself for fun. Okay. This is fun to me. So you're going to see how I piece the meanings of the letters together. Get down, mommy. I will give you some water from right here. Okay. So Aleph, it means leader, chief, first, head, beginning. Mem deals with water, chaos, blood, or I want to say it says something spacious. A massive source, they said, a massive source, which is true. Guys, one of my damn word studies, I had gotten so deep as to ask, what is the matter of space made out of? And of course, water was a part of that. And so that's what makes me think for sure that even the universe is mother. Water is associated with mom. So that's that with that. And with mystery, which is where the idea of myths and mystery and mythos comes from, according to Greeks. So anyway, here we go. Just read it yourselves, you guys. I find this so fascinating. It was getting exciting from this point on for me. What is it? I have the leader of water, the water leader. I'm typing something here right now. I think I did ask them to show the father, the word for father. And it is Aleph and Bet. So Ab, right? And this is where we're going to get to the part about being the plan leader or the leader with the plan. It also talks about the leader, blueprints or what have you of the home. And for me, because I had already done research on the word for sons and for daughters, who are the builders of the home, by the way, the children are how the home is built up. Okay, how a world, how land, how everything is built up, it is through children because they are the heirs, right? They are the continuation of the family. Now, I didn't say this, but I do want to say this. The way that the fathers or the boys and the men hold that is in their scrotum, they have the sperma, which is considered seed for some reason. I don't exactly know why, but it is considered to me like the fertilizer. They may have some components of, what will later become important aspects of the child, but they do not themselves carry the seed that would produce the child. They literally are the ones who mark the child for gendering. Did you hear what I said? And I'm not saying that that's not important. That's very important, because what their special function is, they are the ones who decide, which is still very feminine. They are the ones who decide who's going to retain the strength of mama and who is going to also take on the character of mother to break herself down and to change and to protect and to also destroy themselves. Okay, over and over again for the continuity of the family. This is what males and men do. And it is their job to protect the house. But let's talk about how mama does it first. The mitochondrial DNA is the protector. The eukaryote, whatever, one of them, eukaryote and prokaryote and something, whatever. Please forgive me. My biology terminology is absolutely escaping me. Look, the beginning and the end. Right here, they're talking about the combination of so-called the mother and the father together. But I wasn't really, I don't know, like I said, I've been over the father energy for a minute just because I feel like it's not even fully, it doesn't fully admit the truth. But anyway, they have the alphabet, the Hebraic letters of Aleph, Mem, and Ta, which is Amet, and that is the truth that stands. What was I about to say though? I was going to talk about the important task that the fathers do have, or the mothers without wombs, what they have in gendering the children. So in gendering, they're the ones who say who's going to be who in the next generation. And that's a really important role to play, by the way. I don't see what I put in, but you guys can see better than me. Here they're talking about, all I can see is one of the things says something about a blueprint. Oh, the words are so small on this screen. This is getting pretty lengthy, and I don't want to, I love these types of videos, so I would watch stuff like this. It just takes me sometimes a few days to watch it. I tend to throw them on when I'm cleaning up, or, I just have time to listen. But with this video, it's a lot of reading for yourself here, what I'm talking about. So the core meaning I see of Bates, they're talking about that here. And then eventually they go into the conceptual meanings of Bates. Yes, cutie. Oh, she's so precious. Thank you, ma'am. So why do you still have this, mommy? This is trash. Put in trash. Thank you. Oh, put in the trash, mama. We're going to see if she actually puts it in the trash. She might walk right back up in here with that bag. Okay, so why Bates means plan. They have that up here. Leader plan or plan leader. So we're still kind of breaking up the ob and what the father is supposedly a representative of, what it means, what is it really saying. I think here is where I say that the letter B is connected to the daughters. Now, the reason that that's important to me too is because first and foremost, you have Aleph being the first, right? The beginning, the top, the chief. Now you have the letter B or Beit, and that's connected to the daughters and the house. So the head of the house, the chief of the house. What I see from that is the firstborn daughter. I see the firstborn daughter there, not necessarily the firstborn son, like they have constantly said over and over again, okay, in the patriarchal system. The firstborn daughter would technically be the one with the plans, okay? And you can see that showing through on the screen right now, where they're talking about the ancient understanding and practice of the daughter being the seal of the house, the signet, the sign, the mark of the house. So consider the Game of Thrones. Whenever they were trying to make alliances with the houses, they would often take their son and their daughters and put them together and be like, see, look, we're making a treaty, right? And we're making peace with one another. Find that fascinating. I find that fascinating. In Hebraic culture as well, they have something, I forget what it's called. One of my good girlfriends taught me about it and I can't think of it right now. But it is something that is set upon the house as a motherfucking sign and a seal. And let's just talk about it real quick. I can't remember the name of it. I don't want to accidentally mess it up. But I think it starts with the letter M. But if it doesn't, just know that it is something that goes on the doorpost of the house, and it is supposed to be used as protection for the home. This is what you're seeing in daughters here, okay? And of course a son as well, but I'm going to talk about the ladies. We've talked about the sons more than enough. So I was about to go into that Passover story, the Passover account. It has always been very, very mysterious. And they always, of course, like to point to Christ as that being, but they don't understand that Christ, for me, is the feminine spirit of the Holy Spirit of wisdom, most importantly. But if it's going to be the Holy Spirit of wisdom, well, guess what being is created in the Holy Spirit of wisdom's image? That would be women. So in essence, the sign or the mark of blood, that was a representative of a woman. I also learned in my Hebraic studies that cloud and fire, they're also still considered connected to feminine aspects and principles. So you see,
Amari did this.
she did not. I did. Go. So what I saw was that pillar of smoke and the cloud by day that others would most often and notably say is Christ, is a depiction of Christ, is in fact the mother. She is Mother God leading and guiding her people. Under different circumstances. And guess what? The only difference is that she showed up to these other nations that Israel came out of in different ways. She showed herself in different ways than what she showed the previous nations. That's why it can be said that by this name, this characteristic trait, these characteristic traits, they did not know me by. All right, moving on. Now we're getting into the cosmic womb and the first waters. Now we're talking about the universe here. Yay! It's so exciting. Pause and read, guys. Pause and mother flipping read. This is so exciting to me, y'all. I can't really read what's on the screen right now, but that's okay. You guys can. Pause and read this beauty, this exciting gospel, this good news. I do want to say that my intention with this video is to empower women, to cause them to remember and shit. First and foremost, empowering my own self. Okay. Look at this. The spirit hovering, the Ruach. The Ruach. They talk about that. I also want to point out that the moon is also very important and connected to the ritual holy days and the holidays, because that too is connected to the divine feminine and the divine mother, with the root word of Kodesh or Kadash. Kodesh, anointed or appointed holy times. Now, what is this one talking about? I can't see exactly, but I know that it'll come up at some point. Oh, this is talking about, I think, Chet. And I want to say, hey. So, Chet. And this is that root word of a lot of the words that are connected to the divine feminine. See, it says the root of life. Kawa. Press pause to read, you guys, if you need to, because I do scroll up just so I can, show everything on the screen in this video. Chet, Yod, Ha, or Hey. This is some bomb diggity information. I cannot really see what I'm typing here, but hopefully you guys can. Before we go, I certainly hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, just in case I forget. And I'm so tired by the end of this that I just get off. I want to say peace, love, light, and darkness, which all work together to bring balance and harmony, okay? First within ourselves and then within our world. It was my pleasure to bring this video to you guys. Let me know if you appreciated this at all in any way, shape, or form. Constructive criticism is welcomed. And yeah, what in the world am I typing here? I wish I could see it so much better. Baby, I am typing something in here. I just don't know what it is. the mother, the father. So the father they have as the guardian and the shield, which actually really makes sense still, because what that would tell me, remember how I was sharing with you guys, when it comes to the cell, the mother cell, there is an outer membrane that goes all the way around all of the cells, right? And they determine who gets in and who gets out. Now, this is all the mother, and when she has a cell that replicates herself exactly, it is called a daughter cell. Within that is where all the other, more specialized functions come from. But let's just say that something that I'm learning is that masculine energy is really just the energy of the feminine from the outside. From the inside coming out. It's expressed. It is shown, okay, on full motherfucking display. So with that being said, it would make sense, okay, if you're going to have this masculine aspect of the feminine come out, then that would make this being that, like, they're going to be like that outer protection, right? That outer membrane layer that is protective over who comes in the house or what have you. And they are going to be selective, or they should be, discerning and discriminatory. And most importantly, they should also consult with mother, since she is who sets the tone and who makes up ultimately what is significant and important for life to continue. It would be wise to get information from mama and then use that information to protect and guard the home. All right, so it says the ancient wedding mirror. They say they have it, the chupa here, or the kupa. I don't know if I'm saying that right. My baby said no. But anyway, pause and read. Pause and read. Oh, I want to say this, if I hadn't already. I said I also learned in one of my other studies that if anything is called a legend, a myth, or a mystery, that it's usually true, but it's just surrounded by confusion and fogginess. That was me when I was, really talking about Mu and even Atlantis and things of that nature. And I think I said something like, okay, let me cook. Anyway, that's the end of my notes that I wrote down, because I was attempting to jot down some notes, since I couldn't remember everything from the time I actually recorded this. But these were just some parts I really wanted to get out. So there's that with that. I don't know what's going on here, and I don't know how long this part is going to be here.
Mom, it's a competition on this.
I'm not ready to talk about that yet, Mom. I'm trying to finish up my video. Thank you. Yes.
This and this stone.
Okay, pretty girl.
I got this, a bubble, and some other bubbles.
Okay, Mommy. We will talk about it once I get off of here, okay? Okay, I don't know if we are paused, and I cannot speed this up, y'all. So again, as a reminder, please go ahead, like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if this was eye-opening in any way, or if it confirmed, if it even confirmed things. Because here's another thing. This is something that's really standing out too. Remember, the house and all that deals with the plan leader, or the leader with the plan. the blueprint is found oftentimes in the spiritual realm first. And we know that the mother, if you don't know, I hope I can share this. The mother is who rules the feminine energy or the spiritual. So with that being said, everything starts in the spirit or the unseen first, and then it is made manifest into the physical plane, which would be like what the father kind of tends to represent, or the children. So the plan leader would actually be the mother and or the daughter, because the mother passes the plan to her child, to her offspring. So yeah, that's why even more than anything, it's going to always be wiser to, if you have sisters, to listen to them, because they are pretty much the exact replica usually of their mothers. Even if they don't want to be or they try not to be, you are your mama, honey. And that's biology. Even something that I learned too, and I've said it before, not in this video, but in others, even your dad is going to be like your mom in some way, shape, or form. Again, remember what I said. The masculine is usually going to be the inner of the feminine expressed. Now, that too could also be said to be flipped, where your mother could be your inner expression of your father outwardly. It just depends on their nature, and stuff like that. But a lot of the times, what I have found in my own observation of my own parents, also, I learned this through astrology as well. But yeah, usually your parents have a lot more in common than not. Even if they clash, a lot of times people tend to clash with each other because they actually are a lot more alike than they are different, but the ways that their similarities show up seem to oppose, be like they seem to be the mirror opposite, but they're the same energy, just it feels like from a different perspective. So that would obviously seem to be as an opposite, but an opposite is really just a mirror reflection. They're the other side of a matter. So anyway, just throwing that out there. Let me know if some of you guys have paid attention to your own parents' connections, if you had that luxury to do so, no matter whether it was positive or negative or a little bit of both. Let me know. I know that in my study of my parents, I found out that basically my mother and father had very similar astrological placements, i.e., for example, my mother may have been a Capricorn rising, where Capricorn was said to be my father's sun sign. Okay. And there were other placements too that mattered, but like I think one of my parents is Mars. Let me see if I'm lying. I might be accidentally lying. Let me go into my app and see what I can find about my peoples. Oh, we are almost to the end of this video. I'm excited because I'm getting sleepy myself. But this is still super exciting to talk about. So please do not. All right. So I'm going to go into my daddy's chart. Can I compare daddy's chart? Yes, I can. Over here. Okay. So let's look at the planets really quickly. Okay, that didn't tell me too much of anything. Let's go. Oh, I needed the Bible. That's what I was looking for. Okay, so Oh my God, they had a lot of stuff in common. Very, very strong placements. Okay, so what do I feel I want to talk about? All right, so let's go to Juno real quick. So in my parents' chart, it says that my mom's Juno was in my dad's 10th house. Juno is known to be connected to like teacher energy, and it represents the partnering energy of an intimate relationship. This says that it's also the territory of Venus and the moon, but where Juno seems to differ is in representing the partnership energy in a new light, as in confronting the more modern issues of where the boundaries are with another person. So how much sharing is appropriate versus holding back, and how to deal with bitterness and jealousy or projected authority and control that is thrown onto another person. So Juno also stands for intimacy needs in general. When Juno is prominent in a natal chart, all these types of issues are important to the individual. And if Juno is aspected by another planet, then these issues may be colored by the energy of that particular planet. So moving on, in my father's 10th house, my mother's Juno symbol is there. So it says this. It says, the public life, authority, career issues, and also represents the mother or perhaps the stronger parent as standing opposite the 4th house. The 10th house represents how the foundation of the personality is made manifest and concrete in the world. The birth chart is often divided into 4 7-year periods, one per quadrant, cycling each 28 years of life. And the 10th house is reached at age 21, the age of legal adulthood. So planets in the 10th house will indicate that it will indicate what the energies and challenges are for your career, and also how your mother or even perhaps the father was experienced. So that position, the sign there is Libra. And so Libra definitely deals with partnerships and karma, soul contracts, marriage. Okay. So I guess that could be said that it was a strong indicator of them being married, and specifically being married later in his life and even later in mama's life, because the 10th house, that's kind of like where you go when you're looking to like settle down and create a legacy and build a family and make, and really make a name for yourself, an image that you are proud of. Okay. So anyway, moving on. That's that with that. Oh my God, guys, I have to go use the restroom so freaking bad. And I cannot rush this video, and it is moving like lead. I think I'm going to have to pause and come back. You guys can go pause too. Go get you something. All right, so we are back. We are still, for some reason, on this same little page. Both my babies are in here. My youngest girl is sleepy, but her older sister's trying to keep her entertained right now.
Yeah, get you.
I hope I wasn't here for forever on this part. Listen, and as far as I know, on this, I was probably talking, but I think one of the last thoughts that I was sharing about was how the moon is connected to the divine feminine, even in the Hebraic alphabet, with the root word of ch and the word kodesh. So, or kadosh. I'm sorry, it might be kadosh and not kadesh, but either way, it is connected to the concept of feast times, which if you look in the scriptures, The holy days were called Kodesh, and they were always marked actually by the moon. So, which, by the way, is what the luminaries in the sky, even in Genesis, are said to be for signs and for seasons.
You want to do it again?
So, even there, the mother dictates. Even there, the mother teaches. You know, she teaches about when a season starts, when it ends. The sun is also very, very useful. This is not detracting away from the way that the sun helps in telling the time. But when we are marking important days and stuff like that, the moon is very important there. Or we're marking a new month, you know, things like that. Like, she is who dominates that and who rules that. That's her, where she rules and governs. Okay. Also, let's talk about how she rules at nighttime in the darkness. The dark is often connected to, have you heard of the phrase dark thoughts, or dark, not thoughts, but dark sentences or dark sayings, excuse me? Those are things that are like riddles, and they're like mysterious or mysteries to be searched out. And the way that people tend to search them out is deep research, meditation, studying, observing nature, the patterns and behaviors of people. And that's how things can be, you know, made clear and made plain to you. I've learned that a dark saying, oftentimes, it tells the truth about something, but in a way that it doesn't say it outright. It's not outrightly expressed. But when you learn what the dark saying is actually referring to, you're like, oh my God, oh wow. It's like an epiphany, and it opens up, and it makes sense too. Ladies, go play in the room. You are too loud. Up now, Dari. Go do it. Thank you, babes. I love that you're playing with your sister, though, and that y'all are playing together. That's the part that makes me very excited.
Because I made her laugh.
Oh, baby, I know. I watched. And I remember she was crying just a few minutes ago. My youngest girl is actually calling her sister's name. I think it's so cute. She's one, and she can actually call her sister Daria's name, which was something that I was definitely thinking about. You know, I wanted to make both of them have names that were very easy for the other one to say and even to spell. Amari, say Mari. Say Mari. She got a big old smile on her face. Say Mari. She never wants to say her name. Say Amari. She's just looking at me and looking away like, girl, please. She's so cute, you guys. Oh my God. Anywho, what's going on here? How long is this clip going to last here? Am I still recording? Is it moving? My God, it is, but it's moving slow. Okay, so I think I'll just sit here and try to think of what else I can share with you guys that I learned. Mito, I think will also, I'm going to look up that prefix real quick. Maybe we'll find that also has something to do with the mother as well. Or maybe just with the idea of a beginning. Define Mito. Wow. This was where we got this from. Thank you, Spirit. This is about to get bombed. So, for some reason, this is in, when I put in define mito, automatically the definition is showing up in Spanish for some reason, right? So they said to translate it from whatever this is to English. So to translate mito to English, it literally means, what did I say before? It means myth or legend. So next time, if you don't take anything else from this, I hope it's going to be this, but other things. If you don't take anything else away, remember that when you hear the word myths or legend, that shit means it's true. It's fucking true. Now, let's go through this. Let's talk about this as well. In science, there's something else called mitosis, right? So let's do mitosis. It is a type of cell division that results in two daughter cells, each having the same number and kind of chromosomes as the parent nucleus, typical of ordinary tissue growth. Did you hear what they said? Ordinary. Okay. So there's that word. Mitos is the Greek. That's why I was saying, I think I said that a little bit earlier, that I had learned that legend or myth comes from. And it still deals with something that's real. Okay? So there's that with that. Is meiosis something? Let me go see if that, yes, it is. So let's look at the meiosis meaning. So the meiosis meaning in biology, it says a type of cell division that results in 4 daughter cells, each with half the number of chromosomes of the parent cell, as in the production of gametes and or plant spores. Okay, so that's just one thing, meiosis and mitosis. All right, so that was just something, I don't know where that came from, but it's just me sharing. Okay. So, mitosis is a process of cell division that makes 2 identical daughter cells from one parent cell. It copies the DNA and splits the nucleus so that each new cell gets an exact copy of the genetic material. The 4 main phases are prophase. DNA packs tightly into chromosomes, and the nucleus wall starts to break down. Metaphase. Chromosomes line up right down the middle of the cell. Anaphase. Chromosome copies pull apart to opposite sides of the cell. And telophase. 2 new nuclear membranes form around the separated DNA. So why does this matter? It is for growth. Helps multicellular living things grow bigger by adding more cells. It aids in repair. It replaces old, dead, or damaged cells in the body. And for identity, it ensures that every new cell has the exact same instructions as the old cell. My, how beautiful. All right, so that was just that with that. What else did I get, guys? In looking. Okay, so to go back to a video, it's on my Facebook. Well, I don't have Facebook anymore, but it's on my YouTube. I did a live replay, a Facebook live replay, where I was talking about the female and blasphemy and vengeance. That is all connected to the divine mother and or the female. So for those who do read the Bible and things like that, you know that there is only supposedly one sin that is not forgivable in, in this account, and that is the blasphemy of the Holy Spirit. And so I wanted to know, well, what exactly is blasphemy? But it's more than just about lying against the Holy Spirit. It is literally to slander. It is to poke holes in her power, her dominion, her authority, so that it would basically make her seem meaningless or worthless. Now, keep in mind, most women are made in the image of the Holy Spirit of wisdom. That is the blueprint for the woman. And honestly, if you ask me, it is the blueprint for all mankind. Mankind came here, and originally there were both aspects of mankind in one body. It inhabited one body until there was this process of division in, coming outside of itself. I wonder what the heck I was doing, because I just saw the screen start to move, you guys. I don't know what I'm typing in now or if anything else is coming or if I scrolled up, but maybe I had to walk away from my research for a time. It was probably to change my baby girl at one point in time. Hey, mama, who just walked back in the room and she's waving at me. She may come and say hey to you guys. Say it again. Oh, mommy. You want to get up here? Okay. So, yeah. What is this on the screen? I don't know. I can't see it, but I know that this video, I'm hoping, is beginning to wrap the freak up, child. Because I don't know if I have anything else to share. But y'all, for real, to talk badly and to tell such stories about women and or the mother, to where she loses her power and her authority, and she is made to feel she is made to be small and insignificant. This is blasphemy. Okay? And that is exactly, honestly, what has happened. The entire Bible has, well, they did it subtly. They did it subtly. Not suddenly, but subtly. Mama is always present, but you don't know that she's there until you go into the mysteries of it all, which you find in the Word. You find that in the Word. Words are also probably the reason why mamas and women are as wordy as they are. One of the biggest things that I learned about God was that, and how this whole God, yeah, and how this whole universe was framed, God, was because mother spoke it with the word, right? In Genesis, it's taught, let there be light, and there was. It is said that those beings, because it's more than one being, but the beings spoke. They all agreed. They all agreed on what was going to happen. And then they all, stop, little girl. No, no, mama. And then they all lent their respective powers and things that they were known for to the advancement. Okay, so what's going on here? It says what does it say? Oh my God, I cannot see. It's either the connection or something like that. The connection to Kawa, Eve.
Let me get to you.
Read the screen, y'all. Press pause if you have to read. Both of my little carbon copies are in here. If this was helpful, if this was edifying, I would love for you guys to help support my channel by considering to donate. I myself am a single mother who, this is what I do right now, plus I do attend school. I go to Grand Canyon University online. It is real. Be careful, Mama. I don't want you to fall. And I do not work, and I'm currently kind of unable to work because I have to provide daycare so far for my baby, and I want to be the one to do that first. And I'm really hoping to create a lifestyle that I can sustain myself and have our needs met, like getting food, getting her milk, things of that nature, having a safer place to live, really all by doing the things that I really enjoy, which is researching information and then sharing said information with people who care, and when they learn about it. So look, the Greek connection, silence, mystery, and matter. This is where we're talking about the mystery and mythos and all of that. Pause to read. Pause to read, you guys. This is so exciting. I also feel like this is why meditation is something that's so important, because to me, meditation helps everyone for that matter. But especially it helps us to get clear about things that we want, to get clear about the thoughts that are ours, and really to concentrate our thoughts on something, especially if you're wanting more information and insight, or you're wanting to manifest some things. The cosmic synthesis. Y'all, if y'all can see me squinting right now, I also hope you guys can still hear me. But pause to read everything. You guys.
Amari, I see something brown on you.
Man, yeah, something that she is eating, Mama.
I think Amari was drinking chocolate milk.
In the water, the hidden source, the womb. Okay, so there was something else. I have another video somewhere. I don't know if it's on my Pretty Coach Oracle's channel or if it's on the Pretty Preacher here. I was channeling, and on the screen, you only see, you can see the mirror reflection of the buildings in the apartment complex that I live in the water. And that made me talk about the mirror reflection. If I can find that, I'll link it below. If not, I would suggest going to check into my videos that I have. I have so many videos teaching about what people may consider as random things, but to me, they're all connected. The conceptual meaning, the cosmic force. Pause to read, you guys. Pause to read. Let me see if I can find this video.
Amari,
Accounts. Right now, I'm just trying to check through my pages to kind of try to see which page do I have the video I just mentioned. Oh, you guys, I also offer readings. I still do those if you guys are open to that type of tapping in and stuff like that.
Get a mommy bathroom, Amari.
I do offer tarot and oracle card readings. I offer channel messages.
Come on. Come on.
I'll put the link to that as well below.
Amari, I said this one.
Okay, let's go see. Let's view my channel and my videos.
That's it.
One of my good girlfriends mentioned to me that she feels like my types of readings are not for people who are unlearned in this or new. Come here, bring that here. I don't know exactly what it meant, but I don't know. I think she might be on to something. I don't know what we're seeing on this screen, but I still say, oh, Meta Netter, we're looking at Mother Nature here. Yeah. Oh my God, this is where it gets really good and it's getting ready to go off. But guys, I loved every bit of this. My current partner would say I was going down the rabbit hole. I love going down the rabbit hole. Do you hear me? He literally calls me a rabbit, but he says that because of how I eat my food and how I love fruits and veggies. Here we go, baby. But y'all see how I just did all that? All this time we just spent together, just flowing, from one thought to another. Mommy, raise up, baby. Raise up. It's still starting. Okay, I don't think it's on this channel. So let me go to, look at the screen, pause and read, guys. Pause and read if you need to.
You. No. No.
Mama. Here it is. So it is on the Pretty Coach channel, the one where it's called Channeled Messages as above, so below. Ladies, it's our time to go. And it says lead in love. And then I say apologies to men. Talking. I'm going to even have to go back and watch that myself. But I think if I'm going to say something real quick, I think that the reason that I felt the need to talk about apologizing to men is because I think that the reason that we're experiencing such violence towards women and the feminine principle and all that kind of stuff, and why men treat us so poorly and really bad. And I'm not saying this like to victim blame or anything, or even to whatever. I'm not going to say all the rest of the stuff. I'm saying that because something that I've learned is that we tend to, as a culture, we get back whatever it is that we put out. So and that doesn't have to be the case all the time. Like, yeah, it could have been that some men just took over the power, okay, because they just wanted to be in power. But I don't believe that's the case. I think that, as with all things, how there has to be checks and balances and stuff like that, or how there are good apples and bad apples and stuff like that. It is possible that there are women who were operating in a way that made men who are also from us feel inferior. Pay attention to the screen and press and pause. What? I was trying to say press pause and read. Even if you listen to me, or press pause so you can listen and then so you can read. What I was going to say is I think that there are women who did such a terrible thing to the men who we were supposed to protect, supposed to care for, that we wounded some of them in such a way that just like they do to us now, like there are good guys and there are bad guys. There are men who absolutely do what they can to destroy. They have no reverence for, us and how we show up in the world and stuff like that. And as a result of that, many of us are stripped of confidence in certain ways. We go through some hell with them, right? And you may even lose your life playing around with those types. Likewise, I think that there was a time when we ruled, and by rulership, I just simply mean we were the ones making a lot of the key decisions. We were the authority. Everyone looked to us at one point in time. I think that there are women who made men feel inferior and made them feel small and hurt them in such a way that, they developed a resentment and a hatred to the point that they took vengeance. Because, they are still two women. They are still women as well, even though they have taken on a special mission to have really altered themselves in such a way that they are an outer expression of what goes on within us as women. Some would call that our shadow, right? So whatever you want to call it, they have that. They feel just like we do. And I think that they took their fucking power back at one point in time. And I think that everybody got it rather than just the ladies who it probably should have stopped at. I think that everybody just kind of got grouped into one category, and ultimately just so they might never experience said pain again, they were just like F them all, Pause and read, guys, pause and read. But yes, I don't know, but I think that that might be kind of where the idea of the need to apologize comes from. Because if I understand them to also be women, I would say that they are wounded. I'm talking about deeply wounded women. They are showing us their ass, and they're showing us aspects of themselves that have been brutalized and hurt in some very deep way. And this is the monster, or this is the being that they created to protect themselves from us, and from women who would move in these shadow aspects of us and do harm. So I do think that there should be some type of, especially if we're going to say, for those of us who are learning about the fact that we were first, and about the fact that we are, in fact, the first God or power or authority, then if we're going to say that, we definitely need to step into that type of, that's the type of power we need to take. And I'm talking about that because even when I used to believe that it was, in fact, men who were the head and they were the ones who were supposed to be first, I always used to say that they need to lead in love, and so I'm going to flip that and reverse it. If we are the heads, if we are the first, if we are the true leaders, then we have to do so in love as well. And in war. I think we need to know both, A lot of times the goddesses were goddesses of both fertility and war. We had both sides. There was no just, you just known for one thing. I mean, let's talk about it. Even that's what this God in the Bible says. Oh, by that name, they didn't know me. They hadn't met me in this way yet. How many women, right? How many of us have only been showing certain aspects of ourselves, and or we show certain aspects to certain people and other parts people don't know nothing about. They don't know they don't know now, right? They don't know nothing about that aspect of us. And they may never know unless it gets brought out. So, yeah, these are just some of the thoughts, guys. Thank you for spending your time with me. For those who made it all the way to the end of this video, you are appreciated more than you will ever know. Oh my God, I used to love that song by Charlie Wilson. Check it out. That might be a channeled message for some of you guys, but I loved that damn song. I'm going to go listen to it myself. Oh, I don't want to get my video copywritten and all that. So I'm just going to say, go check out the Charlie Wilson and Boyz II Men song, More Than You'll Ever Know. That might be a message to you from someone, or just even to yourself. Even to yourself. I do want to say this before we go, that I think that men are meant to protect us and to be a shield for us, to lay their lives down for us. I do think that that's true, but I think they're supposed to do it from a place of understanding that they are, in fact, us, and that there is no difference, and that there is no real separation. So this is another reason why I think it's really, really important for the scientific and the biological aspects to come forth, because I think that could be a way that a lot of healing takes place if they learn to stop hating themselves, because them hating us is them hating themselves. And likewise, if we hate them, we are also hating a part of ourselves. I think that integration and lovingly integrating is somehow the name of the motherfucking game. Now, how that's gonna happen, honey, I do not know. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Look at the screen. Look at the screen. Some stuff is going on here, honey. And I tell you, we were flowing. That is what I mean. I'm gonna have to hurry up though, because not only did my little baby fall asleep on me, I bare minimum, I need to go get her some milk or something. Part of me doesn't want to. Part of me kind of wants to break her out of drinking so much milk throughout the night. But it's so hard to hear her. It's really tough to hear her crying. And to know that I understand she's crying that way because she's used to having it. Pause and read, guys. Pause and read. Now I can't wait to go back and watch this video myself and see how far down the rabbit hole we went this particular day. I do also think I'm going to be really disappointed too at how much I missed and how much I couldn't remember of what I had said in the original recording that didn't get recorded. And I am still salty about that to myself. I'm going to have to try to make sure moving forward that with the app I use to screen record, I just got to make sure the mic is on, child. Pause and read, guys. Pause and read. Oh, wow, we got all the way to the blood. Come on. Yes. So the word Dom is blood, which is technically where the Aleph and the Dom, if you ask me, come together to create Adam, which would technically mean the first blood. Or maybe the first ones with blood. I don't know. Pause and read, you guys. Pause and read. And please do let me know what you've gotten, what revelation you have, come to in your own studies and your own research. And let's see, what is a commonality. And maybe what I can learn from you guys and what you can learn from me too. Oh my God, this is so bomb, so bomb, so bomb. Okay. So they say the biological Christ connection, blood and water. So here I know I'm going to be talking about births and, what's going on in the womb and how when children are born, water and blood come out. Which I did allude to and really speak on a little bit earlier in the video. If you have made it to this far in this video, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you. I really hope that this is exciting to you, these concepts, and that it's really, like I said, confirmation. And I hope that maybe you're even yelling at the screen like, hell yeah, or like, yes, yes, this facts, facts, period. Whatever you say, that's like, oh my God, I have gotten this in downloads, or oh my God, I've heard this before, whatever the case is. The point is, I hope that that's what it's doing for you. I am kind of all over the place. I do apologize, kind of, sort of, for that. But yeah, this was not polished at all. And like I said, it's been a few weeks now, and I just knew that I wanted to get the voiceover recorded and done, and that's what I'm doing. So here we are. It's coming along. And I will just be proud of myself to say that I completed this. I don't know how satisfactorily, but it will be done. Let's watch and see. Make sure that you pause and read. All right, so Adam as the first blood into physical form. So I think the concept that I was getting right here was, I was talking about how everything starts in the spiritual realm in the unseen first, right? So they had whatever form and light body they had initially, and then and I mean space wise, like if they were alien beings or something, just hypothetically speaking, then when they had to incarnate, okay, here into this realm, part of that incarnation included them having a body that, had blood and water running through it, which is the mirror opposite of whatever we are filled with in our light bodies. Pause and read, pause and read. It says the first man and woman after the flood. I can't read some of this, but pause and read. Stepping onto the land. the world in the something. Oh, I cannot read that. But hopefully you guys can. What does this say? Which continues to happen. So I think I'm talking about, like I mentioned before, how the world, comes to its end and consequently its beginning. hmm Pause and read. Pause and read. And this one is kind of pointing back to that whole volcanic activity that causes an earthquake, that causes a tsunami, and other types of storms, flooding, you know, and stuff that ultimately causes certain parts of the world to be broken off and to fall into the water. And they have so many so-called prophecies, even just from a scientific standpoint, talking about how certain parts of the coastal areas are going to fall off into certain, bodies of water in the next few years. They can predict that because it is the way in the world, guys. It happens every so often. Now, I don't have a number, but I'm just saying. Pause and read. Pause and read. Oh my God. Oh, I think about what we're eating tonight. That's on my mind. Pause and read, guys. Pause and read. The volcanic or something and the return to the waters. Like, this is how it goes. This is what literally happens at the end. Some civilization, has gone through the beginning phases, coming up out of the water, being discovered and found and inhabited by people. And then, something happens to arrest it and so-called steward it and all that good stuff. And it rises to its height and it eventually goes down and is destroyed, by some type of volcanic eruption or multiple volcanic eruptions that set off other events that ultimately result in a landmass or multiple landmasses sinking into the bottom of an ocean or a body of water, supposedly never to be seen again until, and they will be called mysteries and legends, and books will be written about them. Artifacts will be found, Bibles, all these types of things will be put together. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching and for listening. Bye.